Kathy Hilton shades Mauricio Umansky's looks on RHOBH and tells him to move on. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is giving viewers everything they've ever wanted this season. For the first time in a long time, no conversation is off the table, and the women are baring their souls to restore the series' authenticity. Kyle Richards' ongoing separation from Mauricio Umansky is a significant theme in the initial episodes, but at least 13 more episodes of drama are on the horizon. During Tuesday's new episode, Erica Jane, Kathy Hilton, and Sutton Strack showed up uninvited to Kyle's home to throw a pajama party to help lift her spirits. Kyle was in a bit of a funk amid the changes in her personal life and her simmering feud with Dorit Kemsley, so the pick-me-up from her friends and family allowed her to speak freely about her life. However, Kathy quickly pointed out that Mauricio, who is 54, has aged since the split. "Kyle, you look like you could be his daughter," Kathy said to Kyle as their co-stars looked on in shock. Kathy mocks Mauricio's Instagram workout posts. Kathy then started flexing her arms to get her point across, which Kyle conceded was about Mauricio's Instagram stories of him half-naked in the gym with weights. Kathy then explained in a confessional that her relationship with Mauricio hadn't been good, and things got worse when he brought up his unfiltered thoughts about the Hiltons on his now-canceled Netflix series, Buying Beverly Hills. The 65-year-old explained that it would be best for Mauricio and everyone for him to move on. It's understandable that Kathy would take this opportunity to attack him because they have had some deeply rooted issues for years. However, Kyle is very cautious about what she says about her estranged husband on camera, likely for the sake of their daughters, and because there would be a wealth of media attention if they started talking badly about each other. There are still many questions about Kyle's relationship with Mauricio, but things took an explosive turn this week when we learned that he replaced a photo of him and Kyle with a picture of him and his dancing with the star's partner, Emma Slater. Kyle and Dorit need each other at this point. It's obvious their relationship is over, but understandably, Kyle would struggle with all lines of communication being shut off because they've been together for so long. However, Mauricio seems to not consider Kyle's feelings and his actions since they parted ways. The sad thing is that she and Dorit are going through the same thing, because we saw Dorit go out to dinner with her estranged husband, Paul P.K. Kemsley, during the same episode. At that dinner, P.K. told a bewildered Dorit that they needed to distance themselves from one another. They were still codependent, which no longer worked for him because they were not in a relationship. Kyle and Dorit have more in common than they'd ever admit, which could be their relationship's undoing. What are your thoughts on Kathy's unfiltered sentiments about Mauricio? The air crackled with tension at the latest Real Housewives of Beverly Hills soiree. As per usual, the party was extravagant, walls draped in shimmering silk, chandeliers casting a soft glow over an impossibly long banquet table, and guests adorned in designer gowns worth more than the average mortgage payment. But no amount of luxury could soften the moment that sent gasps rippling through the crowd. Kathy Hilton had arrived fashionably late, her entrance marked by an unmistakable air of cool detachment. A dazzling statement necklace rested on her décolletage, catching the light as she moved with effortless grace. Her presence alone was enough to send whispers through the room, but it was what she said that would be discussed for weeks to come. Mauricio Umansky stood near the bar, sipping an expensive tequila and regaling a small crowd with stories of his latest real estate conquests. His signature salt and pepper curls were tousled just so, and his grin had that same boyish charm that had once made him one of the most sought-after brokers in Beverly Hills. But tonight, the room seemed divided, loyalists of Kyle Richards on one side, those eager for a little shade on the other. It didn't take long for Kathy to be drawn into the fray. She floated toward Mauricio, a measured smile on her lips. The energy in the room shifted. A few guests subtly moved closer, bracing for what they knew was coming. Well, Mauricio, Kathy drawled, eyes scanning him with a cool, appraising gaze. I almost didn't recognize you. Have you changed something? A hush settled over the crowd. Mauricio, ever the smooth talker, chuckled, attempting to diffuse whatever was brewing. Nope, still the same me, he replied, setting his glass down with an easy confidence. But I guess some things do change, huh? Kathy tilted her head, her smile never faltering. Oh, things certainly change. And some things, well, they just need to move on. The words landed like a well-placed dart, sharp enough to draw blood without outright aggression. Mauricio's smile tightened, and from across the room, Kyle's face visibly tensed. The air between them thickened with unspoken history, years of family drama simmering just beneath the surface. Parcel Bova, ever the instigator of good reality TV, leaned in slightly. Wow, Kathy, you're really saying it tonight. Kathy let out a light laugh, lifting a perfectly manicured hand. Oh, Garcelle, darling, I'm just stating the obvious. People change, and sometimes they need to accept that and move forward. Mauricio, never one to back down, met Kathy's gaze head-on. I have moved on, Kathy. I'm focusing on my business, my daughters, my life. Kathy's expression didn't waver. I'm sure you are. But sweetheart, let's not pretend we don't all see what's happening. It was a subtle dig, but it landed hard. The ongoing speculation about his separation from Kyle, his rumored entanglements, the whispered conversations about midlife crisis, it was all there, just beneath the surface of her words. The tension in the room had officially reached a fever pitch. Kyle, unable to stay silent any longer, made her way over, her voice strained but steady. Kathy, what are you trying to say? Kathy gave her sister a knowing look, the kind only siblings could exchange, layered with love, history, and a dash of rivalry. I'm just saying, darling, that when something is over, it's over. No need to keep up appearances. It's Beverly Hills after all. Reinvention is the name of the game. A murmur of amusement and shock rippled through the party. Sutton Strack sipped her champagne a little too eagerly, and Erica Jane smirked behind her martini glass. This was the kind of drama that kept Beverly Hills running. Mauricio exhaled sharply, running a hand through his hair. I don't need to keep up appearances, Kathy. I know exactly who I am. Kathy's smile turned saccharine. That's wonderful, Mauricio. I always say confidence is key. And it's so important to keep up. Well, whatever it is you're keeping up. The room erupted into a chorus of oohs and hushed gasps. Even Dorrit Kemsley, who typically had plenty to say, was left momentarily speechless. Kyle clenched her jaw, her patience clearly wearing thin. You know what, Kathy? Maybe we should just enjoy the party. Kathy sighed dramatically, placing a delicate hand over her heart. Oh, Kyle, of course. I would never want to ruin the evening. I was simply making conversation. Mauricio took a long sip of his drink, jaw set. Well, I think we're done with this conversation. Kathy gave him one last look before turning on her heel, her silk gown sweeping behind her as she rejoined a group of amused onlookers. As the party continued, the moment lingered in the air, its impact undeniable. The battle lines in Beverly Hills had been redrawn yet again, and Kathy Hilton had made one thing clear. When it came to the past, she had no intention of sugarcoating it. As for Mauricio, he might have walked away from the conversation, but in the court of Beverly Hills social warfare, Kathy's words would haunt him long after the last flute of champagne had been emptied. And for RHOB fans everywhere, The drama was just getting started.